Today's video is going to be about styling short hair, and whether you like this or not, I decided that to make this video I would have kind of a different hairstyle, because in the past I have kind of dabbled with different, waves and curls and plaits and whatever else, but recently I've pretty much just stuck to the same old kind of straight-ish bob with a wave here or there. So I thought specifically for this video I would show you how to use one of the tools that I'm going to mention. It's been something that's been requested quite a few times for me to do what I do with my hair, how I style my hair, things that you can use when you have got short hair, and especially when your hair is kind of that mid-length growing out phase like mine, where I had a bob cut in, I think July, that was to my ears. It was a biscuit away from a crop. It was really, really short, and so I'm finally at that stage where I can do different things with my hair, whereas previously it was pretty much just pin it up and twist it and plait it and whatever else, but I didn't really have an awful lot of option other than maybe waving a couple of sections. So now I can do big styles again. I thought I would kind of show you what I've been using over the past 6 months or so, whilst I have had that in between and that very, very short hair, and the things that I've found work for very short hair, and the products as well. So speaking of products, let's start with them. And I do have a couple of items that are quite new to me. The first ones are the VO5 Give Me Texture range, and this pretty much, I would like to say they stand for the entire range, or symbolise the entire range, whatever. But they don't, because I don't like the entire range. These are my favourite products. We have the dry texturising spray, which is kind of like, if you ever had, I used to have a Toni and Guy wax that reminds me of this a lot, or this reminds me of rather. It was kind of like a dry wax, and you spray it in your hair and it creates texture. And I particularly like using this when I've left my hair to dry naturally, so it's got that kind of wave, but it just gives it a little bit more volume and a little bit more movement. And then we have the Give Me Texture Tousled Style Spray, which is really good for when I have my hair still wet or damp. I'll spray it all through. I must admit, I wouldn't recommend that you use it on dry hair. I generally would put it into the palm of my hand and then kind of rub it into my hands and use it like that, because it really does, when you spritz it, it's not a mist. It's a definite, it's going in this one spot of your hair, so it can get a little bit crunchy. But when it's in wet hair, it's not too bad. And I spray it all over my hair and kind of scrunch it a little bit, and as it dries, it basically dries wavy. I don't know whether or not you have to have kind of naturally a wave in your hair for this to work, because my hair is pretty wavy naturally anyway, and if I have layers in, it really would wave, but my hair is all one length at the moment, so it doesn't without the use of something like this. But let me know if you've got super straight hair and you've used any of these products and they actually work for you, so that would be useful to know, but I can't tell you myself. But these products have been staples recently. I've had them for maybe a couple of months, and they've made it into many posts and favourite videos and stuff like that because I've really liked them. This does embody an entire range of products, and it's the Full Repair Mousse from Frieda. I actually haven't used this much, this individual product. The one that I was reaching for that I couldn't find, and I have no idea where I've put it, is the, what is it called? Heat Styling Spray, I think it's called. And it looks like the 3 Days Straight. It's the same kind of bottle, and the Frieda Go Blonder, they use all the same bottle, but it's red. And basically, I use it as my heat protector, but it also is a styling spray. So it's kind of like using a mousse or like a pre-style hairspray, if you will. But all of the products in this range have heat protectant in them. So I think even down to the shampoo and conditioner, which I used, I don't love them, but they're okay, and I think for a random shampoo and conditioner I would use them again. It's just they didn't do anything special. I didn't feel like anything from this product actually repaired anything. But I do like the styling range because everything's got heat protectant in it, including this. And it's a root lift foam. I didn't find that it was sticky or made my hair greasy, which was fantastic. It's not like a normal mousse, it is a foam, and it's liquid that turns into a foam rather than like an aerosol mousse, which I think is a little bit stickier. And generally this is a good product, I just don't use it as much as the heat spray that I actually wanted to talk about but couldn't find. 2 more products. One is Batiste. I don't even need to talk about this. Very, very important product, but especially if you're growing out your hair and you don't want to wash it all the time, because obviously you don't want to wash away the oils that your hair actually does need, especially if you're styling it and things like that. You need it to have that extra nourishment and moisture that it's trying to give itself, but we're washing away. So by using dry shampoo, it does kind of allow your hair to rest a little bit, and obviously if you can stay away from the heat, that's all the better. The last thing I've only had actually for a few days, maybe a week, and it's the Neal and Wolf Fix. It's Hold and Shine Spray for all hair types, and this is amazing. Not necessarily just the product, but oh, it smells so good. I had something from a Glossy Box or something like a Glossy Box a while ago, and I think it was an Intensive Rescue conditioner, and I absolutely loved it because it smelled so good. It was a really good product as well, but it's £20 and I've never repurchased it. Where I got this at the event that I went to, the blogger event recently that I went to, and it just, oh, for the smell alone, it smells amazing. But then also it's kind of it is a hairspray, but it's a mist. One thing that I have a problem with when you have these kind of bottles like this is I find that, the same as with the Tousled spray, they spray in a direct spot. This is absolutely a mist of liquid. It's not at all just kind of one individual spot, and it smells amazing and it does give shine, and I would definitely recommend it. I think that after smelling it so frequently again, I'm going to have to go and repurchase the Neal & Wolf Intensive Conditioner that I had all that time ago. And the last product is this that I mentioned in my last favourites video, and it's the Bonicure Oil Miracle from Schwarzkopf. And it's the light finishing treatment. I think you can get different versions of this, but this is basically, it's like all the other oils that are on the market. I'm not going to tell you that this is better than anything else. The only thing that I like about this is that it is very, very light and you can't overdo it. I always said with my macadamia oil that that was more serum than oil, and that you could apply more or put more in your hair before it got to that stage where you thought, oh, I've gone too far, I've got to wash my hair again. Well, this is pretty much, you can never get to that stage because it's so, so light, but it is still oil. It doesn't feel like serum, it still feels like oil. Strange, but that's the one that I've been using recently. Moving on to styling tools, I'm going to take you through every single heat appliance that I have that I use. The first one is this, and this is what I've used to do my hair today. It is, how we do it? Basically a big crimper. If you're not familiar, there are lots of different companies that do these kind of wavers now, where it gives you a big wave rather than a little mini crimp, but it's basically the same principle. You crimp a wave into your hair, and I absolutely love this. I got this when what were they called? Oh my goodness, everybody talks about them. Oracle or, not Oracle. Oh, it's gonna drive me insane. Enrapture. Everyone was talking about the Enrapture waver, the Enrapture totem styler, and they were like £80 or something. It's just absolutely crazy. But this does the job. It was like 20, 25. I think even the Enrapture ones have gone down to about that price now, because I don't think that anyone in their right mind was willing to pay that money. I think there were a very few select group of people, let's say, that were talking them up online, and I'm sure they're amazing, but I wouldn't pay that money for them. Having said that, if you are someone that's got very long hair, you don't straighten it, maybe it's naturally straight and you wave your hair every day or you curl your hair every day, I'm sure it's worth it. But for me, something like this, something that I'm not going to be using all the time, I'm not going to pay a fortune for. This one's from, yes, Toni & Guy. I was going to say Toni & Guy and then I thought maybe it's Babyliss. No, it's from Toni & Guy, does the job, and I would definitely recommend it. And it even works on my kind of shoulder-ish length hair now. Next are the straighteners that I'm using at the moment. I actually have two things from this brand on my knee, threatening to fall off. Everything's kind of like jostling for a place down here. And the reason that I've started using these, THX Stylers basically sent me these straighteners, and they sent me a blow dry brush, both of which I'm going to speak about. The straighteners, I used them and then I put them away because I had straighteners I was using. I liked them, but the main issue, the main thing with this, the main benefit, feature of these is that they were curved, so they were good for curling your hair as well as straightening. Well, that didn't really bother me because I didn't curl my hair, I only straightened. The ones I was using they were from Babyliss, I think. They were pink, and very, very narrow plates, which was better for my short hair. Unfortunately, those Babyliss ones, less than a year after owning them, in fact probably like 6 months, just died. And so I pulled these out, I use them all the time, and I actually do really prefer these now. But, you know, honestly, when I first used them, I thought, well, I've already got some, I'll just put these away. Next, an actual curler, and this again is from Toni & Guy. Yes, it is. I don't know what the millimetre of this is, because I know people talk about that on YouTube. I don't know, I'm not into that kind of thing, but it's very, very small. It was the smallest one I could find on the internet when I was looking, and the reason I bought a small one was because my hair is shorter, and obviously the big barrel, basically it would get kind of like halfway around the barrel, and then I would run out of hair. So I used a very, very small one, and when I had I dip dye and I curled my hair, everyone said, how did you do that with such short hair? This is how I did it. And you could use this with long hair as well, and I find that it just holds the curl a little bit longer because the curl is tighter. So by the time you're out and about and you're doing things, it's probably dropped to what you wanted it to be in the first place, unless you wanted like super loose waves. So yeah, I really like that as well. And the last thing I thought I would mention is my hairdryer. That's not the last thing, I've put one last thing. The last thing, second to last thing I thought I'd mention is my hairdryer. I know it's not very interesting, but for years and years and years I was using a travel hairdryer. I forget what it was from, probably like a Babyliss one, but travel hairdryer. I didn't really see there being a big deal with using the travel hairdryer. I used it for everything. I blow dried my hair with it. It was tiny. It would overheat a lot, so I would have to wait for it to cool down and blow on the back of it, and it was horrendous like that. But I only ended up buying another one when it just completely bit the dust and died completely. And then Lee went out and got me this one, which cost like £20, and it was like the Rolls Royce of hairdryers after using such a mini crappy hairdryer for so long. For years and years, probably like 6 years, I had the same mini hairdryer that you could collapse. It was, what was I thinking really? This is amazing, and I think it was called the Elegance. It doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure it was called the Babyliss Elegance, and it's been in the sale everywhere since we bought it, but really, really good. I really appreciate the diffuser on the end when I'm blow drying my hair. It really does help to smooth down the cuticles of your hair, and it doesn't make me as frizzy. So yeah, the hairdryer that you use is important, but it doesn't have to be expensive. Just, you know, a nice hairdryer, you know. It can be a cheap one, but it can be a nice one. Okay, the actual last thing I wanted to mention is really gross because it's covered in my hair, but I have mentioned this before, and I will link the tutorial using it below. And it's the THX, what is this called? It's like a hot brush or a blow dry brush or, Make It Big Hot Air Styler. It's basically like the Babyliss Big Hair, but it doesn't rotate. So you pull it through your hair, and it blows hot air at the same time. So it's like blow drying your hair through the brush that you're using. It just makes it so much easier. My hair, at the length that it is right now, I can probably do it in like 5 minutes. Not from sopping wet hair, it has to be kind of part dry. And then I'll spritz it with my heat protectant and dry it with this, and it's just super, super easy. Watch that video if you're interested, because I show you how to use it there. But especially if you have got kind of shorter hair, this is amazing, and it means that I don't have to straighten my hair as often. And if you are trying to stay away from heat, or at least if you're trying to cut down on heat, then this is definitely better for you than your straightening irons, where you're basically just frying your hair. Neither's the best thing for your hair, it's just that one is better than the other. And I really, really would rate this, and it's not expensive. I think it's like £20 or something. Don't quote me, but I think it is. So they are all of my products that I use to style my shorter hair. If you've got any questions, let me know. I will try to link everything that I mentioned in the down bar, in the info bar below. But yeah, if you've got any questions, I will try to answer as many as I possibly can. And I hope that my crazy hair and garish makeup didn't put you off. I don't normally look like this. Go and check out my other videos and find out. Bye!